In the animal kingdom, every fight is life or death. But sometimes, the predator picks the wrong target. And nature strikes back with brutal force. Lion versus buffalo herd. A lion pounced on a buffalo calf, expecting a quick kill. But within seconds, the herd turned. Horns forward, rage awakened. One buffalo launched the lion skyward. Another crushed its rib cage. The lion limped away. Bruised and humiliated by unity. But wait till you hear what happened next. Python versus porcupine. A hungry python coiled around a porcupine, sealing its fate. But the moment it tightened, quills dug deep into its flesh. Internal bleeding started immediately. The snake died, wrapped around the animal it tried to devour. Then something even more shocking happened. Crocodile versus zebra. A crocodile lunged at a zebra crossing the river. It latched onto a hind leg and pulled with full force. But the zebra spun wildly and delivered a fatal kick to the croc's skull. Dazed and bleeding, the crocodile released and drowned. And here's where things spiral out of control. Leopard versus honey badger. A leopard stalked a honey badger, thinking it would be quick. Instead, the badger turned savage, biting, clawing, screeching like a demon. It latched onto the leopard's snout, refusing to let go. The leopard fled in pain, its nose torn and pride shattered. But the story doesn't end there. Eagle versus mountain goat. An eagle swooped down to snatch a baby mountain goat. But the mother lunged upward, crashing into the bird mid-air. Wings cracked against the cliffside, feathers torn and broken. The goat stood victorious as the eagle plummeted. But wait till you hear what happened next. Cobra versus mongoose. A cobra reared up, venom dripping, ready to strike. But the mongoose was faster, dodging, darting, taunting death. It clamped onto the snake's neck in one clean move. The cobra went limp, defeated by reflex and fearlessness. Then something even more shocking happened. Hyenas versus rhino. A pack of hyenas circled a young rhino, testing its limits. They nipped at its legs, attempting to provoke. But then, the mother rhino charged in full fury. One hyena was thrown 10 feet, another impaled. And here's where things spiral out of control. Bear versus bull moose. A bear tried ambushing a bull moose drinking from a stream. But the moose turned and struck with antlers like spears. The bear tumbled backward, bleeding heavily from the neck. It never got up again, but the story doesn't end there. Tiger versus sloth bear. A tiger pounced on a sloth bear protecting her cub, but she fought like a berserker, clawing and roaring wildly. Her strength overwhelmed the tiger, pushing it back. The tiger limped away, defeated and bloodied. But wait till you hear what happened next. Orca versus great white shark. A great white patrolled the coast until an orca appeared. In a swift motion, the orca flipped the shark upside down. The shark entered tonic immobility. Paralyzed. The orca tore out its liver and left the carcass floating. Then something even more shocking happened. Hippo versus Nile crocodile. A crocodile tried grabbing a hippo calf, but the mother clamped down on the reptile's body with unimaginable force. Bones snapped like twigs. Water turned red. The croc was crushed in seconds. And here's where things spiral out of control. Dog pack versus wild boar. A pack of dogs chased down a wild boar in the forest. They lunged, bit, and surrounded it from all angles. But the boar slashed sideways with tusks sharp as knives. 2 dogs lay dying before the others fled. But the story doesn't end there. Hawk versus snake. A hawk swooped down to catch a snake basking in the sun. It lifted the reptile into the sky, but the snake fought back mid-air. It bit the hawk's breast, sinking fangs deep. Both plummeted from the sky. Only one survived the fall. But wait till you hear what happened next. Komodo dragon versus water buffalo. A Komodo dragon bit a water buffalo, injecting deadly bacteria. But the buffalo didn't collapse. Instead, it turned back. It gored the reptile with brutal force, ripping it open. The dragon bled out before the infection could even begin. Then something even more shocking happened. Jaguar versus caiman. A jaguar leapt into the river and grabbed a caiman by the skull. But this caiman was massive and not alone. Two more caimans emerged, snapping wildly. The jaguar escaped, barely, clawed and gashed. And here's where things spiral out of control. Raccoon versus owl. An owl attacked a raccoon near a trash bin. But the raccoon lunged upward, grabbed the bird mid-flight. With a ferocious growl, it slammed the owl to the ground. Feathers flew. The owl didn't fly again. But the story doesn't end there. Wild horse versus wolf pack. A wolf pack targeted a foal in a wild horse herd. But the stallion charged in, hooves swinging like hammers. He kicked one wolf in the skull, killing it instantly. The pack backed off in silence. But wait till you hear what happened next. Baboon versus leopard. A leopard stalked a lone baboon at dawn. It pounced, but didn't expect the troop to intervene. 10 baboons swarmed the predator, biting and screeching. The leopard fled, tail tucked, face bloodied. Then something even more shocking happened. Cassowary versus dingo. A dingo tried to corner a cassowary chick in the jungle, but the adult cassowary sprinted in with dagger-like claws. It kicked with bone-crushing power, tearing into the dingo's chest. The predator was left twitching in silence. And here's where things spiral out of control. Elephant versus lions. A pride of lions surrounded an old elephant bull. They leapt on his back, but he didn't fall. With a furious trumpet, he flung them off one by one. Only one lion survived the retreat. But the story doesn't end there. Wolverine versus cougar. A cougar spotted a wolverine digging through a carcass. Confident in its strength, it crept closer to claim the prize. But the wolverine snarled, stood its ground, and launched an attack. After a vicious scuffle, the cougar fled, tail between its legs. But wait till you hear what happened next. Otter versus alligator. An alligator snapped at a giant river otter playing near the shore, but the otter fought back with unexpected ferocity. It bit the gator's eye and twisted beneath it, slashing its throat. The alligator retreated, bleeding and broken. Then something even more shocking happened. Goose versus fox. A red fox tried to snatch a goose egg, but didn't expect a fight. The mother goose flapped, hissed, and pecked viciously. She struck the fox's face repeatedly, forcing it to flee. The nest remained untouched, guarded by fury and feathers. And here's where things spiral out of control. Antelope versus cheetah. A cheetah sprinted after an antelope, aiming for a clean takedown. But the antelope swerved, fainted, and jumped in a flash. The cheetah misjudged, crashed into a tree, and limped away. Speed met strategy and lost. But the story doesn't end there. Ram versus mountain lion. A mountain lion lunged at a bighorn ram high on a rocky ridge. The ram dodged, backed up, and charged with earth-shaking force. Its horns slammed into the lion's chest, knocking it into a ravine. The predator didn't rise again. But wait till you hear what happened next. Squirrel versus hawk. A hawk dove at a squirrel from above, talons ready. But the squirrel leapt to a nearby branch in a split second. The hawk crashed into a trunk and spiraled to the ground. Agility saved the prey and humiliated the predator. Then something even more shocking happened. Wild boar versus leopard. A leopard descended a tree to ambush a wild boar feeding below. But the boar turned and slashed its tusks upward. The leopard cried out, bleeding, and backed away. Sometimes muscle outweighs stealth. And here's where things spiral out of control. Gorilla versus leopard. A leopard crept into a guerrilla troop's territory. The silverback saw it and roared with pure dominance. He charged and slammed into the leopard with terrifying force. The cat fled, never returning. But the story doesn't end there. Coyote versus sandhill crane. A coyote sprinted at a sandhill crane nesting on the plains. But the crane slashed with its long beak, piercing the predator's eye.
Attentively.
The coyote yelped in pain and tumbled into retreat. Sometimes elegance hides lethal precision. But wait till you hear what happened next. Falcon versus crow gang. A lone falcon swooped at a murder of crows. But the crows weren't intimidated, they retaliated. In seconds, a dozen crows mobbed the falcon mid-air. It was overwhelmed, grounded, and picked apart. Then something even more shocking happened. Monitor lizard versus civet. A monitor lizard cornered a civet mother protecting her young. It lunged, but she bit and clawed with desperate rage. The lizard took one more step, then retreated in pain. A mother's fury beat the odds. And here's where things spiral out of control. Sea lion versus shark.
Feel that! Feel that! Feel that! Feel that, guys!
A sea lion drifted lazily on the surface until a shark appeared below. The moment it lunged, the sea lion twisted, bit the gills, and swam circles. The shark thrashed, stunned by the defense. Eventually, it fled deeper, defeated. But the story doesn't end there. Camel versus human abuser. A camel, beaten and chained daily by its owner, snapped one day. It pinned the man to the ground and bit into his head. Reports say the man was torn limb from limb. The desert had witnessed justice that day. But wait till you hear what happened next. Rattlesnake versus roadrunner. A rattlesnake coiled, ready to strike the desert bird. But the roadrunner danced circles, taunting it. In a flash, it grabbed the snake's head and slammed it against a rock. Death came swiftly for the wrong attacker. Then something even more shocking happened. Rooster versus cobra. A king cobra slithered into a rural farm coop. But the dominant rooster didn't flee. He charged. In a flurry of feathers and fury, he pecked the snake's eyes. The cobra writhed, blind and helpless. The rooster crowed. And here's where things spiral out of control. In the wild, the roles of hunter and hunted are never permanent. What we think is weak may carry the strength of survival, of rage, of motherly fury, or revenge. Every creature has a limit. Cross it, and even the boldest predator may fall. So the next time a hunter prowls, remember, not all prey go quietly. Because sometimes nature doesn't forgive. It fights back with claws, fangs, fury, or worse. Isn't it terrifying to know that even kings can bleed?